The all-important lag to kick things off here. Day 5, 32 players left, 126 started out, and this is a left-hand side. You don't like to say loser's bracket match, Mark Wilson, do you? You like to just say it's...
once beaten.
It's once beaten, exactly. So, Earl Strickland, the Pearl, versus a relative unknown in terms of the international pool scene, Waleed Majid from Qatar. And I can tell you, I watched Waleed play in England in the World Cup, and I was suitably impressed, to say the very least. And he has made quite an impact here at the U.S. Open, making his first appearance in America. And he is a terrific young player. You're going to see a lot of similarities in his style with the great Shane Van Boening.
I had never gotten to see him play, but he put a devastating whooping on one of my Team USA players, so I know this guy has got super firepower. He just absolutely took the match. It wouldn't have mattered who he was playing.
Well, Strickland's won the lag, 5-time winner of this event.
Got
a race to 11.
Earl's got his armor on. Little bounce on the break. You know, the guys have been doing a little bit more positive things from the break here as the tournament winds down. The cloth is broke in, so the balls don't seem to be willing to go in as easily, but yet they're finding ways to make more balls on the break than they did the first 2 days.
Well, right away, Earl's pointing. He's having a little chit-chat with someone sat close to him and letting him know what he thinks about that, too, rolling into the safe area. Being covered by the 8 into the bottom left corner. But Earl's got the angle on this one here, Mark. He can get that cue ball pretty close to that, too.
He likes to play a little drama, and oftentimes what he says he has really no attachment to. It's just a means to relax him. He fell on the wrong side of this. Yeah, he needed to come in short for sure. You know, he could play the 2 off the 9 had he, come in there short. He didn't have to break it out. Now he's played himself well out of position. That's not the way to start unforced error here. This player, at this stage, 32 players, these guys are playing awesome. Everybody.
Yeah, and the way that Waleed has approached this match, he's probably come in here as he has most of them, as though he's got nothing to lose. And the pressure is really on Earl Strickland.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. The young players, they just are anxious to try to win a title or win a match against a guy that has many titles. So they're a big target on Strickland's back, and really, like Jim said, not much to lose. So you get the best effort. It's quite another thing once you get to be the number one player to stay the number one player. Much harder to stay there than it is to get there.
Well, Earl using his extension, 40-second shot clock being employed here at the U.S. Open. Each player allowed 1 40-second extension per rack. Well, that's a pretty nice escape. Don't know whether it's going to see Earl through in this opening rack, but at least he's forcing Waleed to have to go through the motions.
This tall, lanky, angular guy with a super flowing stroke, it's really interesting to watch him play, too. And he has a good rhythm. I don't think he'll be intimidated, even though it's maybe his first time on the TV table and the first time playing Strickland. Super long bridge. Cut the pocket just a little rough. That's why he fell a little short of his position. Just a little bit fat.
This is a big stage for Waleed. Quarterfinalist in the World 9-Ball Championships actually beat Darren Appleton en route to that quarterfinal finish. Recently played over in the Far East, actually the Middle East.
One of the few players here that travels with a coach. That's pretty interesting. Other sports, that's commonplace, and pool is fairly rare, other than maybe one of your fellow competitors that is your friend. Very pretty.
This is important, too, to get a good confident start. He's a little straighter on the 6 than he would have liked, and he's close to that left-hand cushion mark, so that's going to make cueing at a premium as well.
I really think he should just stop the ball. I don't think he should try to do anything more with this one. Okay, good. Yep. At some point, you got to be a shot maker, and trying to play position added so much difficulty that it was not justified for the little bit of ball pocketing improvement that you would get. Long bridge. Look how loose the bridge is, too. Not really how it's taught.
Well, there you just got your first indication of what a solid player this young man is.
You know, it was indicative of Strickland's play. He normally comes out the gate a little bit loose, a little bit sloppy on some of his position plays, trying to generate some rhythm.
Secures the first rack. An impressive U.S. Open debut for young Waleed Majid. Beat Imran Majid 11-4. His namesake, very good player Imran Majid, former UK #1, beat him 11-4 in his opening match. Then he lost to Warren Kiamko, and Kiamko, great Filipino player we know well, and he's still alive in the last 8 on the winner's bracket. Then he came back and beat Al Howry 11-10, very close match, and then that thumping you had already alluded to against John Schmidt, former U.S. Open champion, 11-2. He beat Schmidt, and as you said, Schmidt was absolutely hammered, and he had no reply against Waleed. And then he beat Rodriguez 11-5 to set up this match against the Pearl. Well, Earl's having a little survey of the racks. First time I've seen that, actually. Mark, we talked about this yesterday, didn't we, in one of the broadcasts? For me, this is the one area I'd like to see an independent person come and take over. Just an objective racker, rack the balls. The player can have a look at it, but they can't ask for a re-rack.
That would be
you
perfect.
Accept it as it is.
Yep, that would be perfect.
I mentioned that yesterday, and for me, that's the one area that still needs to be addressed.
You know, and at this stage of the tournament, the rack area with these pros that hit them so square and so hard, it starts to become quite dented, and it's hard to get a good rack. You can see the one ball wants to sift away, and this is cloth that's only been 5 days old, but it's already absorbed a great deal of wear, much like a pro golf tournament where the greens just get pelted with so many balls they become kind of like a moonscape, or if you will. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, and you're right. The more the tablecloth gets broken in, the tougher it's going to be to rack. And especially if, someone's come in here and maybe practiced on this table earlier and tapped a few balls down, that just makes it a little tougher too. As you said, it just pits the cloth, doesn't it?
Right, and when you tap them in, I've seen blow-up images. You got little dents in the cloth, but then when they pound them, it starts to create little troughs backwards before the rack explodes, and so that's why they settle. They're in those little troughs, and then when you lift the rack up, so then you got to either rough it up and retap it, or there's issues anyway.
And something, Mark, for all our fans out there that are watching all around the world, this is one aspect which makes live television a very daunting prospect for pool. Imagine if this was a live broadcast on a TV network right now.
Yeah,
this is effectively dead air. You can't have it.
Yeah, Waleed is now back up, ready to go. 40-second shot clock. Both these guys are fast players. Good square break. The 9-ball does not count in the lower 2 corner pockets, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, nothing down. And a wide open table for Strickland to get that back arm loosened up.
You see the arm brace on his left arm. That helps to hold him still. He sometimes wears ankle weights. I did not see if he applied them, but he will take them off and put them on during the course of the match.
I like the way Earl's dressed right now, Mark. I like seeing a waistcoat and vest on players. If nothing else, it distinguishes them.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very good look for our sport. I'll tell you the truth, as far as the Mosconi Cup goes, I wish they would go back to that.
Yeah, you guys used to wear waists. Remember the days when you were playing? You had those sparkly waistcoats?
I just think, like you said, it distinguishes them. That's like the player's uniform, where now polo shirts is fairly commonplace, and while they're very comfortable, I don't think it quite has the touch of class.
Seen a few of the American players wearing vests this week. Earl Strickland won. John Schmidt was wearing a vest. Archer. Just a real professional and polished look for me. Well, look out, Earl. Well, that's 2 bad shots in a row from Strickland in terms of where he's allowed Waleed to come to the table, and he shouldn't have been. First in the opening rack, and it cost him that one, and this one is almost certain to cost him this rack as well.
I used to think of that as careless on Strickland's part, but he's more of a rhythm player, and he tries to get into a flow, and so oftentimes he starts his matches off just like this, but then when he finds that good rhythm, he makes up a lot of ground in a hurry. So I can't really be critical of that style. It's so effective, 5 U.S. Opens, 5 world titles. But it does look a little amateurish when it goes like this. Waleed does not mind. Not much to say. He stays straight in line.
Well, for the moment, just capitalizing on the mistakes. And every time he's the man that slides that bead over to his side. 2-0 he leads.
Yeah, this right now, the racking represents the hardest thing he's had to do in this match so far. You know, under the unwavering eye of Earl Strickland.
Earl's playing out of Steinway Billiards in New York now, and that's been a move that has really benefited the Pearl.
He's sponsored by a vapor company, and you know that's one of the most profitable things going these days. One of the new businesses, these vapor things. Are you familiar?
Well, you mean like the ones that take the place of a cigarette? Yeah.
Enormous volume of money in that particular business right now. It's kind of like back when they used to first come out with movie rentals and such. Look at he's got apparatus on, he's got his glove, I don't know what's on his middle finger, some kind of a bandage or some kind of a appendage that he's got on there. He used to have finger extensions, colored glasses. Look at that, it looks like something a baseball batter might wear up there if he had to face a fastball coming inside. John Schmidt calls it his armor. It works, though. I mean, he says it keeps him very still and steady, and now that he's gotten older, he feels like he wiggles. I don't know. I know he plays great. If you didn't mention him in the top 3 or 4 players in the United States today.
Well, I like what I see right now. Jay Helfert's coming in, and I wouldn't even mind seeing Jay take over this aspect of the match, or at least someone that he can delegate.
I think it looked so bad in the first rack. Jay asserted himself and said, Earl, I will go out and examine the rack, but don't you.
Rack number 3.
Oh, I like that break. He's not being productive, but good and square. Take care of the cue ball. Don't scratch.
Yeah, once again, though, Earl comes to the table with a chance. We've said this 3 times already.
Waleed may have to give up on that good square control the break type break if he fails. So, and there's not a lot of time for this either. You kind of got to go to school on your opponent, how he breaks if he's getting some productivity.
Wow.
And just hadn't found his good rhythm. He's really in trouble. He's giving speeches. Oh boy, he says. He's going to clip the 9. Good speed.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure he could see that one.
That's a great shot, though. His speed. Trying to get into his good one-stroke rhythm here.
Quite likely the first time these two have ever opposed each other, but I guarantee you Waleed knows who Earl Strickland is. Who doesn't? And that one wiped its feet before disappearing.
Yeah, he hit that pretty ragged. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. He's actually missed 2 or 3 of the balls in this rack already, plus all the misses. A couple of them found the pocket anyway, but he did not hit them properly.
I think Earl's talking to himself, and Waleed finds that a little amusing.
Yeah. He's probably not played very many players like this.
There aren't many players like Earl.
No, he is a one of a kind.
Well, the storyline continues. Waleed is just simply benefiting from the unforced errors.
You know, I'm one of the biggest Earl Strickland advocates there is, and I love him like a brother, known him ever since he broke in. I can't take being around him for more than 10 minutes because he will drive you crazy. But I also appreciate the perfection that he expects of himself, the fans, and the equipment. And he really believes in the game. He doesn't set out to be a bad fellow. It's misinterpreted. And then there's people that they don't know that he's right on the edge, and fans try to provoke him and it doesn't take much, which is wrong. Waleed's sticking right with this dead center break. Put a little more into it. Lost the cue ball. Did make a ball in the back corner. Okay, Earl. A lot of work here.
Well, possibly looking at the balls this time and understanding he does have to dig his heels in. Maybe this is one of the racks that he will get out. And this one is by far the toughest that he's faced so far.
That's right. Waleed seems to be playing this pretty smart to stay unengaged or unaffected by the banter that goes on.
So Earl wants to stay short on this 4. He wants to be able to develop the 5 from it, and that looks perfect.
Yeah, that was a nice shot. It actually deserved a round of applause to get that perfect angle.
Don't say that.
He's instructing the crowd. They also should not engage him.
Everything I do sucks.
People think he means what he says. He's not even thinking. Yeah, he's just relaxing.
It's not a good shot.
Yeah. Well, 11 seconds. Timeout?
Yeah, he's just called his timeout, buying himself the 40-second extension. There's a little bit more thought in this one because it is awkward.
That was a good shot.
Yeah, I wonder if he feels like he accomplished anything there. I think that was a great shot.
I think he felt relief more than accomplishment. The way he looked, he took a big breath. Yeah. Particularly with the way things are going.
No, somebody's disturbing him.
Well, it's strictly inside. It's all internal. It's a very interesting dynamic because Earl really does not mind battling the crowd and his opponent at the same time and performing well. It's almost like it spurs him on. He likes to, engage some kind of animosity or hostility. Most players can't play well like that, but he lives in that zone.
Well, just as we thought, a very difficult rack when he set out. And he went through it like a hot knife through butter. 3-1. Waleed Majid over Earl Strickland, but Strickland with the break to come. Rack number 5.
Yeah, if we were looking at keys to winning this match, naturally Strickland would have to play his good offensive game. That would be his key. And for Majid, what he needs to do is not engage Earl Strickland in any banter whatsoever. Just stay focused, do what you do. Earl oftentimes will melt down and give you enough opportunities to win. But if he gets you playing in any kind of an adversarial relationship, he will beat you there. That's his field of expertise. So just completely stay, focused on what you're doing. Do not even get involved in any of this nonsense. And I'm not saying this because I dislike her. I don't mean it that way in any way. I'm just saying I've watched this for years and years. Earl will kind of melt down if you absolutely leave him alone. It bothers him. Cut break. Dry break. And Waleed's going to get another scoring opportunity here. 2 and the 4, a little bit funny.
Break hasn't been kind to either one of them yet.
I was looking at Waleed's cue the other day. It's really beautiful. It's deceptively beautiful. It doesn't look like that much on the video, but if you get up close, pretty darn intricate. Just cosmetics. I'm not talking about the performance characteristics. I was just noticing that it was strikingly, subtly beautiful.
Doesn't need to do anything here, Mark. Just knock this in and leave the long 4.
He's a long, angular guy, and when you talk about great pool players, you seldom find tall ones. Seldom. For every tall one that you can name, I'll name you 25 short ones. Yep, 40-second shot clock's not going to come into effect here. Either one of these two. Makes it more fun for the commentators, too, when they play an up-tempo game rather than picking length and walking around, chalking and talking.
It's got some flow to it. And it's nice to see these top players when they're in stroke and you see that very consistent rhythm around the table.
Have you ever been involved in the editing process of a match?
I have.
Okay.
Snooker, not pool.
Okay. Well, in pool, it's probably about 85 or 90% walking and chalking. I mean, it's remarkable how much you can take out.
Four 1. The dry break from Strickland.
Yeah, Majid, he's got his good rhythm for sure, and he's getting good opportunities and he's capitalizing, and that is the key. You don't have to do anything fancy, but you do have to take care of your opportunities.
We talked about it yesterday, Mark, that when you see a player and he's in stroke and he's got that very consistent gait around the table and even the amount of practice strokes before he pulls the trigger, everything, you can almost put a stopwatch to it. Mm-hmm. And with Earl, a lot of times he'll be walking around and, something will get his attention, whether it's in the crowd or on the table, and something you never ever get much in the way of consistency from Earl. And yet he's still been able to perform at such a high level.
With Earl, it's much like I was describing with Efren yesterday. Efren will switch cues just to refocus himself, make him have to work harder because it draws his attention. So from the amount of familiarity he has with his game, sometimes he gets a little stale or a little complacent. And so sometimes he'll switch cues and switch shafts because it feels funny, it feels weird, and he has to concentrate extra hard. With Earl, he spurs himself on with all that out of rhythm, arguing with the crowd or initiating some type of a confrontation. It means nothing. He's not committed to that in any way. It's just a way to spur him on, and he likes that negative, hostile atmosphere. I've watched it for years. He likes to beat you and the crowd. Well, Majid right back to his favorite place.
Well, he's enjoyed no success whatsoever from here.
Oh, he levied a big blow on that one, though. 6 ball found the back corner pocket. Lined up on the 1, probably looking at a safety play here. I don't know if he can combine a safety with a billiard on the 9. He might go after the 9 for that reason. Well, he could. And look at that nice shot, Jim. Oh, straight in the pocket.
Chews his gum and walks over to slide another bead over. Like a walk on the beach. Waleed Majid, this is what John Schmidt saw. And now Earl Strickland is seeing it firsthand. This young man doesn't care who he plays.
Yeah, that last shot, that was way more difficult than what he made it look. It just went shot right in like it was lined up for that. Boy, you got to hit a good ball. And he hit that with confidence. It's different if that 9 ball's along the rail a half inch off. Now you got a big margin of error. That one didn't have much margin of error to it. He didn't hit it like he was afraid of it. He hit it like he meant it, and that makes a big deal of difference, too, because you get through the stroke much better. Now he's starting to get a little success here on the break.
Oh, that's big-time success. Look at the balls. Well, for all our Earl Strickland fans out there, the time has come to start worrying. That was a bit of a careless shot there. He just lost the cue ball. And now what could have been very straightforward is...
Earl's going to need an unforced error. Plays himself back in line here pretty well. Nicely played. One cushion position that allowed him to have pretty liberal ball control regarding the speed.
I had a pretty lengthy chat with Waleed in England following the World Cup of Pool, and he didn't go back to Qatar after England. He stayed on for a few days and then came straight here. But he does have a little bit of sponsorship, I believe, from the government there to support his pool habit, and I mean, that goes a long way. When you've got the backing in any way from your country, not only a testament to how good a player you are, but it sets you up nicely and takes a load of pressure off.
True story.
And we're seeing it. 6-1. Some terrific pool on display here. And look at that, 972. 931 is the best we've seen on the TV table. Imran Majid. We'll see if the other Majid can go a notch better.
Yeah, last night, Dennis Arcolio had a real good chance at that, but at the end, maybe one little mistake.
Here's the best we've seen so far. The highest TPAs on the TV table.
Oh, those are good figures on the tough equipment here. Well, that was Majid's second consecutive win from the break. So he won a game and then put 2 more together, and he's still operating. And he's been blessed with the every time he's come to the table, a good opportunity, good scoring opportunity. He hasn't had to work real hard for these games, and now he's executed flawlessly.
Yeah, the early going, he was brought to the table by virtue of a miscue from Strickland. When I say a miscue, a mistake, really. And the latter part of this match, it's all been his own doing. And he's got the 9 moving. The dry break this time.
Earl says, see, I got a nice sarcastic layout. He meant 3 balls tied up.
You don't want to give me any consideration.
Does not mean a word he's saying. Just trying to spark himself along.
Toughest shot maybe right here from the 2 to the 3. Beautifully played.
Boy, what a shot. Come on. That was good play. This is going to be a tricky one, too. It's hard to go back and forth. I think he's going to settle on ball speed and try to go between the 5 and the side pocket. Nope. Behind the side pocket. Boy, he fell on the perfect angle here. Good decision and good execution on that last shot. That pure as could be.
Earl's looked his best when he's come to what looks like a pretty awkward table. Seems to have raised his focus, elevated his game, and
he's a fan favorite just because you're always going to see something special, something exciting. Sometimes it's not his actual playing performance, but nonetheless, always something's going to happen.
And another messy table made to look easy by the Hall of Famer. 6-2. He's got a ways to go to get back into this match.
All the years that I rocked fast, it never took too much time. All the manipulating they've done to me, I should be able to stand here for about 10 minutes. Oh, frickin' manipulating.
Yeah, you almost get the feeling that Earl wants to engage a few of the people, and they're just avoiding any eye contact with him. They want to see some good pool. That's what they've come to see. And he is clearly the man that has drawn them here to the main arena, the Accu-Stats arena here at the Marriott Hotel.
On the rack. Let's think it'd be 10 seconds to rock. That's what you need to do. 10 seconds to rock.
There is a break box employed here. Cut break. Looks like it's going to be a dry break.
And I think for one of the very few times in the match, Mark, we're going to see a little bit of a safety exchange.
Pretty good decision there. Slightly elevated. Looks like he's going to try to pound this one home. Oh, what a hit.
He's overhit it.
What a hit.
That's a diamond for you. That's a diamond right there. Some tables that ball will help. Only on these tables it doesn't.
Then off the 2, 3 cushions in behind the clutter. Down there right where he's laying. Good chat. Awkward kick. I'm not sure what he's got.
Yeah, it almost looks like coming from this side, he may be able to just clip the 2 off the bottom cushion.
2 cushions, Jim's suggesting. Good call, Jim. Oh, boy.
Wow. Look at the shape to the 3.
You know, I have to tell you that these guys play those shots. Even though they're low percentage, they visualize them and execute them. Jim called it. He needs to go 2 cushions. You go 2 cushions, you do have a scoring chance there. Couldn't have hit it any better.
Yeah, I guarantee if the camera would have given us Earl's face right after that shot, you might well have been able to fry an egg on it. He'd have been steaming. Because he did everything he could do, didn't he, Mark? He played a good safety, good containing safety.
Oh, real good shot. You just have to tip your hat. You can't be angry about that. And you can't call it luck either because that was a designed shot.
Funny thing is, Waleed never ever took any time. He didn't come down to have a look to see if it was available off the second cushion.
Right.
He just saw it. Just felt the shot and got down and executed.
Nice. This is a crucial juncture of the match for Waleed, though, because this is right where Earl needs him to falter, maybe to get him just a little sloppy, and he's doing a good job. Normally we'd say that when the score is 5-4 or something, but
Mark,
6-2 in front.
how would you like to have this young man in America? How would you like to have somebody with his skills and natural gifts? Because where on earth in Qatar has he learned to play pool like this?
I don't understand it either. But, you know, I kind of credit, you know, some of the Asian players with stimulating growth in our sport.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. But you just wonder where the ceiling is on this young man's ability. Like I see a lot of, as much as successful as somebody like Shane has been in America, this guy here, looks like he's game and willing to start traveling around and applying his trade wherever he can.
I think they said he was 27 years old. How could you learn to play pool like this in 27 years?
But where he comes from. I mean, how many pool tables? As a matter of fact, I remember spending time with him. He told me there's 3 clubs in the country. In the whole country, 3 clubs.
Most interesting.
He's got no choice. He has to get around and play in tournaments. Otherwise, he's got no competition.
Yeah.
What a story.
Some of the American players, there's some petty jealousy that he would be supported by the government of Qatar. But that's
I don't know if there's so much jealousy as envy.
Yeah, well, and they say, well, if we had that type of a start, then we too. But it doesn't start that way. You have to earn that beforehand. It doesn't come and then you earn it. First you earn it, and then it comes. Well, look at that 3-9 down there. Not an easy start for Strickland either. I think we're going to see him just glide off the 1 ball, let the cue ball go in behind the 3. He can play a shot there, but he can also pin the 1 ball over there. However, there's some danger associated with it because if you fail your shot, there's a good chance that he's going to be able to kick and hit the 1 ball.
Yeah, he's got to go at the 9 here. He's got to flick the edge of the 1 and take the cue ball down. He can catch the cushion, then the 3, then the 9. Oh, little unlucky for Earl there. That was a game effort. He knew he was always knocking that 1 into the safe area on the right-hand side. That was a fraction from being successful.
Oh, he went right after the 9. Aggressive shot. This is one of these real testers. It's the ball that Strickland can make, but it also carries with it quite a penalty should you miss.
He needs that cue ball to get away from the cushion.
Well, that was pure ball pocketing there. It really wasn't much for position, but he didn't try to do something extra with the cue ball. He wanted to ensure that he made the 1.
So will he be looking at the billiard from the 3 to the 9, just leave himself an opening at the 3 and play the cue ball into the 9?
And jacked up, too. Now, he's playing a difficult shot. No, just a stop shot. Good call, Jim. Yeah, there was no reason to do anything extra. This can scratch. Yeah, good job there.
Well, Strickland needs a few more like that. Couple quick racks. Get himself where he believes again. Not that I ever think he stops believing, but I think there are that every now and then those shadows of doubt.
Dumbest thing I ever seen. Marking my own score, racking this.
He likes to dominate, doesn't he? He likes to totally take control of a match and
Celebrating this. This is dumb as rocks.
He definitely likes to be aggressive and let you know that that's his table that you're playing on.
This is dumb as it gets.
this is my arena, this is my space, and you're just renting time. And from what we've seen from the 27-year-old from Qatar, I don't think he came to Chesapeake to do any shopping
No.
here. He's here with a purpose.
Yeah, I think that also is a part of the reason he just stayed in England. There was probably someone there good to work out with. He could train. Strickland opting for a very different breaking style. Look at this. You see how low he got on that?
I ever make one? Never.
You have to tell you, Earl is willing to try things. Even nowadays, after being long-term, 30 years as a top professional, he's still experimenting.
Corner bank. Top right corner.
Pretty shot.
Coincidentally, the name of my new club.
Bank shot?
Corner bank.
Oh, corner bank.
A shameless plug, Mark. But what a starting shot for Waleed there.
We always talk about how the great bank pool players all come from Kentucky or now Qatar. Very thin cut. This will be interesting to see how he plays this. Oh, staggered to the home, but that checked up the ball speed quite a bit, so he could get perfect by hitting that way heavy. That was by design. Manipulated the pocket.
Yeah, this has all been manufactured by that one bank on the one. As soon as he made that shot and dropped nicely onto the two, everything was there for the taking.
Remarkable talent here.
Yeah, and I don't like to draw the comparisons to Shane. He's got a long ways to go to try and add to his resume the way that Shane Van Boning has, but he's got the same sort of style. It's just a very carefree style. With that long cue action that he's got, generates a lot of cue power with very little effort.
Good shot there. Falls perfect.
And you just get the feeling that he loves being out there. And that was another thing with Shane, too. I remember in the early days when I saw Shane coming up to Canada, he just wanted to play. Well, these guys are going to take a timeout. 8-3, our current score, and we'll be back just following this short break. Players make their way back into the Accu-Stats arena. Waleed Majid comfortably in front, 8-3. The current score over Earl Strickland. A lot of players, a lot of fans probably not giving Waleed much of a chance against the great Strickland. They just forgot to tell him. Terrific young player from Qatar, if you're just joining us. Quarterfinalist in the World 9-Ball Championships. Played not too long ago in the Middle East, won by Niels Fayen. Beat another European in the final, Albin Ocean. both of those players here. One of them still alive. Niels is still fighting on in the one-loss bracket.
Well, he's stuck faithfully with his favorite break. For the third time in the match, he's made a ball from there without scratching. The other 2 times he made a ball, he got out. This time he's going to be forced with a safety play. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, what a shot that was. Perfect speed, perfect direction, perfect execution. This is one-stroke time for Strickland, and he does not even come close, Jim. His chemistry's off. That is not the vintage Earl Strickland that we're familiar with seeing at all. And I knew it was one-stroke time, too. He just, sometimes he gets in that mode, and it's kind of like he tries to generate something from nothing without exerting himself. But it's, for all of his electrifying talent, he also has his demons that he fights, and if things are not going his way, sometimes he will just kind of get into the give-up stroke. However, if you let down one little iota, he can come back with a major run from behind. He's not afraid to play from behind. So,
Poor shot from Waleed there. That was overhit by a long ways. And he may have to duck now instead of attacking.
well, this is what I'm talking about. You do not want to get into these. You have to capitalize there. These are the big games in this match. Now, you see what I mean? Now he's taking a lot of care on this difficult shot. The more routine one, he just refused to apply himself on his previous inning. Yeah, nice shot. Oh, he'll be disappointed.
You gotta wait for my shots to finish. Because I'm so lucky.
Changed his mind 3 times before electing to slice that 3 in. Initially, he was queuing up for a safety. He's going to have to come with something special here.
Why would you cheer? You gotta wait.
It's certainly not Strickland's physical game that's at issue. There's hardly anyone can do the things that he can do.
No, that's not Earl's best effort either. He needed that 4 ball a lot closer to that bottom cushion. He's left a chance for Waleed here. But he was unlucky, Mark. Has to be said, he was unlucky to leave himself right over the 6.
Well, scratch. You can't just send it down there. Every ball's leading to the corner pocket.
Alright, what's wrong? Are you disappointed? You don't think that can happen?
This will be Earl's 3rd visit to the table this rack.
Amazing. You don't think that can happen? You're gonna have big surprises in this game, I'll tell you.
Well, I must say, it appears to me a little bit as if Waleed's getting lulled into a false sense of security here. Yeah, Waleed did a very, very important rack escape. Strickland gave him enough opportunities. Now, Earl will make a speech and exhibit that he's still negative and unhappy and disenchanted, but he's not thinking that at all inside. He just portrays that. It's the most interesting dynamic. If he gets something going from the break here, this match could be tied up very, very quickly.
My body.
No one wins from here more often than Earl Strickland, just so you know. And there's a lot of pressure, too, because if Earl goes ahead and gets a couple racks here and then gets a little of the audience behind him, then there's a lot of pressure on Waleed, and he's thinking, I got to close this guy down. I had a couple good chances. I let slip away. And then all of a sudden, you got the Earl Strickland freight train, and he will go right on by you.
I think you've got as good a read on this as anybody, and he's still got that crouched approach for the break.
Still has his arm apparatus on. It's very interesting because now he will not use the one-stroke approach. He was just, I don't know, like he tries to spur himself on, or he tries to lull the guy in and give him another turn so he feels real complacent and secure. Okay, I'm sure Earl will discuss this about how his bad luck persists, but he's not believing it.
From the Nick Varner school of gum chewing.
Yes.
Looking for a deal with Wrigley's. Miss our buddy Nick. Haven't seen him around. He isn't here this week, is he, Mark?
No. He's playing quite well. And he was recently at Lindenwood University. He played a match, and then I saw him again up at Mike Durbin's house just in the last few weeks. Playing quite well and enjoying playing. I really don't know why he's unwilling to come to these tournaments anymore. I know they're long, hard days, but he still plays at this level.
Yeah, he loves to compete too.
Does he ever?
And don't think for 1 second he doesn't believe it. He can win. I've spent a lot of time with Nick. He's a very good friend of mine, and if there was one person that I could choose to be locked in a room with, and I wanted to learn to play pool and every aspect of the game, Varner might be my pick.
Yeah, he knows it. What I love about Nick, he knows all games, plays all games well. He's won championships in 5 different disciplines, world championships. So I don't think anyone else has that. 5 separate titles: world championship of 8-ball, 9-ball, straight pool, bank pool, and 1 pocket. But no one works harder than Nick Varner. When you come to a tournament, he's like he was the precursor to Shane Van Boning. If there's an open table, Nick's out there hitting balls. And he'll be hitting balls when you go to bed, and he'll be hitting balls when you get up. Nice shot. Yeah. All right, Waleed, if you want to win this match, this is where you got to make hay right here. You cannot let these games slip away.
You could slow roll this and be all right, or you could just take it to the end cushion and come up. I don't really like the way that he played that, Mark.
No, he's been a little loose with his cue ball the last few games.
He's such a good shot maker, though, a pure shot maker that, like a little distance and awkward cueing, doesn't really faze him.
Yeah, sometimes guys that do have good cueing and good shot making rely on it a little bit too much, and when the pressure gets on, they force it when they should have been working harder on some of the more preliminary shots, so they wouldn't be exposed to have to make another tough shot. Here he's got himself back in line pretty well. Be very, very surprising to see him fail this opportunity now. But you just can't get sloppy or complacent. You have to conclude the match. Yeah.
9-4. He'll be breaking to get to the hill.
Oh, that one hurt Strickland pretty bad there because 8-5 versus 9-4 is a large difference now.
Your averages, 9-14. He's dropped slightly.
The ball's pocketed tells the whole tale. 64-37.
I remember a match in the World Championships. I don't remember who Steve Davis was playing, but he had pocketed 19 balls, and he had won 7 racks.
Yeah. That is an unusual figure. An aberration that can happen with 9-ball. Cannot happen with snooker. Well, yeah, he didn't hit the rack very good. I think he was trying to go for the cut break, and then in the last second he hit it a little fuller than the cut break and kind of got caught in between there.
We haven't seen an illegal break yet, but 3 balls have to pass the middle pockets. And every ball pocketed counts as a ball having going by the side pockets. And the speed that these guys are hitting a mark, I doubt we're going to see an illegal break.
Fairly challenging layout now, the 3 to the 4. Like to see what Strickland's got planned there. He didn't really go look at the 4, so I'm not sure.
Chris Carter has been eliminated in 25th place. How about a hand for Chris? Good job.
Guess he's going to try to go up and bump the 4.
Alex, you'll play back in 12:30.
Hey, great shot.
Yeah, he can certainly put Waleed in jail here. Just knock the 4 up the left middle of the table and weld that cue ball behind the 6. Take that side cushion away, and he's done that. This is not going to be the easiest of escapes.
Not at all. Three cushion route. Nice hit. Not much separation though. Through no fault of his. That was just what he was forced to play.
Well, I think he's still all right. He doesn't know it yet, but
I was sitting in the stands last night with Earl's sponsor here, Larry Ross, nice man, and the tenor of his conversation was that there'd be a lot more missed balls if these were 4 1/4 inch pockets, which no dispute, but I'm not sure what relevance that has. Because he's advocating we should be playing with 4 1/4 inch pockets.
this won't take long. That was as much disgust as anything
Look
else.
at that. Oh, boy. Well, he left the shot, but it's buried deep in the corner pocket with the cue ball. I'm sure Waleed is delighted even to have a difficult chance. No problem there as he effortlessly finds the middle of the pocket. Very nice speed. Now this is a big game again.
Yeah, one that could have gone Strickland's way. We've said that a few times. Waleed arrives to the hill, 10-4. And You really can't see any way for Strickland to come back in this match. He just doesn't seem like he's got the sort of attitude that, mind you say though, Mark, you never let your guard down, not with a player like him.
You know, just what you're saying, it's not the score deficit. It's he's not presenting the attitude that would enable him. He's just not in as good mind frame. He feels like he's willing to succumb.
And I think Waleed will be very happy to comply. Almost made the 9 in the side. That would have ended it quick. And if the 2 goes by the 6 up at the far end of the table, you're going to see Earl have a go at this one bottom left and pull the cue ball over to the side when he's ready.
Do everything you gotta do before I go.
Yeah, he's looking in the direction of Waleed. I don't know if he is chatting with Waleed. Looks like he was there, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it was directed at him. If I was Waleed's coach, I would absolutely not allow him. Look at this, I missed cue right away. I would absolutely not allow him to even look or utter a word in Strickland's direction. Totally keep your eyes on the table and start preparing yourself for your next inning. And through no criticism of Waleed's performance, he really hasn't had to do much in this. It's not like you remember a bunch of really terrific runouts he's made. And he's taking care of what's been presented to him. Golden opportunities, but there's a nice shot. Unfortunately, he collided into the object ball.
Yeah, this might be one of those instances you're looking to tie something up because this is a murderously tough hit. And a remote chance of getting it safe even if you do hit it.
Right. Yeah, you need to be productive here. Some fashion. He's going 2 cushions. That would have been close if he just clipped the point.
I'm not exactly sure what's put Earl off, apart from his own lackluster performance.
Yeah, 10-4 behind has put him off.
You guys got the crazy idea that when a guy's moving in a chair, it's all right. That ain't okay. Believe me. He's Wade Crane.
He's clearly in the top 3 or 4 American players in terms of his skill set and capability. But this is the attitude as to why he is no longer a member of Team USA. It would actually be better for us if he was a member of Team Europe, which is unfortunate and sad to say. But he absolutely cannot help himself. Have you ever seen an Earl Strickland trick shot demonstration?
I've done a show with him for Jim Kelly, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. His son, I think his son has autism, and Earl and I did a show in Canada. It's one of the best trick shot exhibitions I've ever seen.
The hardest shot you've ever seen, and some of them so difficult but you will see it accomplished. He will shoot it 30 consecutive times. He will get it done. Do you remember? Yeah.
High skill, very skillful. A lot of trick shots, as you know, Mark. You've done shows, are all in the setup, and you could pass the cue to someone in the audience. They could make the shot. With his, well, a lot of them are extremely skillful. He does the wing shots as well as anyone I've seen.
Yeah.
Back cuts on the fly.
Yeah. Amazing talent. 10-5 is our score now.
It's a long ways back. Everybody knows that I'm stating the obvious, but Strickland's got to try and get himself in line.
Don't worry, I'm glad this guy's doing me a favor.
He's got to believe. And like you, Mark, I think there's a part of him that absolutely never gives that up, always believes in his own ability, regardless of what he's saying or what he's doing.
Now he's going to break from where Waleed was failing. I mean, who knows what he's thinking? Maybe he's going to show him how to break from out here in the center. This is the part that I don't much care about, is that so many of the games begin like this. You don't get any offense much from the break. And then that being said, Mike DeShane came over here and made a ball on the break every single time the other day in the match.
Earl's loss came at the hands of Shane Van Boning, 11-7, and he felt that Van Boning was very lucky in that match.
He was. I broadcast that. Earl played the better pool in that match. But Earl would make a couple balls on the break and never get a shot. Shane would make a ball or two on the break and always get a shot. But that happens. I mean, it's nothing. It's not mystifying. It's been going on my entire life. Well, look at this lackluster safety attempt on top of a lackluster performance so far from Strickland. Waleed, he always has a super long bridge on everything, doesn't he? Not many guys cue from the back rail here. Maybe a few Filipino players are willing to do it.
Check the cue ball.
Yeah, that was a really good shot right there. Trickle it down there. Not much to stop him now unless he plays himself out of line.
Well, Mark, I think this is going to be the beginning of the end for a possible 6th U.S. Open title in this year for Earl Strickland. The top 32 finish, though, with 126 of the elite players on the planet. Still not bad. Though I doubt he'll take much solace in that.
No. Earl's all or nothing. He came here to win. Got the cue ball away from the cushion nicely there, back out to the center.
He has been flawless.
We are informed that he's never missed a ball that he attempted to pocket during the entire set. Not likely to happen here either. This is a testimonial to consistency. He didn't do anything tremendous, but he did everything well.
Yeah, and a solid performance from Waleed. And Earl saying something to him. Don't know if it's complimentary or not, but either way, it's Majid from Qatar. Stays alive in the 39th U.S. Open. 11-5 over Earl Strickland. There'll be a lot more action coming your way. Mark, enjoyable as always. Great having you in the booth, and I know that We've got a few more matches we're going to be sat here doing as the day rolls out. But for all our viewers, stay with us. There's going to be a lot more coming your way on Accu-Stats.